Guys, I feel like I'm in an endless void after reading and watching Attack on Titan. I feel like one of the dead side characters that just gets casually killed off. Because what in the world do you even watch after watching something like this? Well, I'll be giving you some decent stuff, guys. Don't worry about it. My taste's not trash. I totally didn't like the Mystic Girlfriend. In order to satisfy that need for a good show that has some good plot and character development and as well world building, stay tuned for this video. Alright, let's go. Alright, so number 5 on the list, I chose Fate Zero as well as Fate Unlimited Blade Works. So honestly, I chose two, Fate Unlimited Blade Works and Fate Zero, because every time someone recommends Fate, there's always going to be a war on which of these to start with, so don't kill me, please. This is mainly to target that demographic of you viewers out there that really like the action aspect of Attack on Titan, because Attack on Titan had some really good action scenes. I'm pretty sure Twitter went crazy after seeing that Levi action scene in Season 3 Part 1. So basically, Fate Zero is the prequel to Fate Unlimited Blade Works. So if you're more on the plot side, watch Fate Zero. If you're more on the action side, watch Fate Unlimited Blade Works. So in Fate Zero, the prequel to Fate Unlimited Blade Works, the Holy Grail is basically an omnipotent being that has the ability, the promise of granting any wish, and it basically causes a bunch of wars in the past. Then we follow this Ainsbound family who pretty much hire and marry in Kiritsuga Emiya into the family through their daughter, and then this creates a binding contract, and pretty much he gets a servant called Saber. He basically fights in this Holy Grail war, and you get to explore what it's like to fight in Holy Grail war with him. This show is way far from your normal fantasy show if you're thinking it's just going to be a typical fantasy show. It's one of those shows that's really dark like Attack on Titan and raises the question of whether or not someone needs to abandon their humanity and become ruthless in order to defeat their enemy and achieve their goals of peace. And then Fate Unlimited Blade Works. You explore the Holy Grail War between 7 of the mages who serve their masters. And then the master this time that we follow is Shiro Emiya, the adopted son of Kiritsuga Emiya. And you get to learn a little bit about the history and past relating to Fate Zero and how it all connects. Both of the shows really explored the dark aspect of Fate, but more so Fate Zero. So if you really like the dark part of AOT, watch Fate Zero. Instead of calling this Fate Unlimited Blade Works, I'm gonna call this Fate Unlimited Budget Works, because the action scenes are way better and have a way better animation quality than anything I have ever seen. Jujutsu Kaisen's opening, if you think about that, Fate's fight scenes are higher quality than Jujutsu Kaisen's opening sequence. And that's crazy because a lot of opening sequences, they spend a lot of money making those opening sequences, and then Fate, just their casual fight scenes are just out of this world. But not only is it really heavy on the action, it has a semi-decent plot. The plot's not really anywhere near Attack on Titan level. But yeah, now we're gonna get into more plot-heavy and mystery-heavy shows. So next up, I chose the very, very popular mystery show, The Promised Neverland. So if you haven't heard of this show, then you definitely need to watch this. The Promised Neverland follows a bunch of children in an orphanage known as the Gracefield House. Basically, the kids, they're all living freely, having a bunch of fun, and living happily with their mom, Isabella. They're basically their caretaker. But then everything comes to an end when it's finally revealed that one of the characters disappears, and this causes 3 of the oldest siblings, Emma, Norman, and Ray, to go on a search for clues on what's actually going on in the orphanage. The main connection between The Promised Neverland and Attack on Titan is both of them focus on world building, and they really focus on the sense of mystery on the show's world. We basically introduced to an entirely new world that we know nothing about, just like Attack on Titan, and we have to basically just follow our heroes in the show and have to figure it out, find the clues together, and figure it out as they figure it out. And they both have a very strong liking towards deception and secrecy, and the idea that people may not be who they seem to be. And they both also have creatures that bring into fear to characters, as well as a lore behind creatures having conflicts with humans. And also in The Promised Neverland, I find it really funny because, like Attack on Titan, they're all trapped kind of. You know what? I won't get into that because that's gonna spoil the show. Then, after you finish the first season, do not watch the second season. Just go to the manga. There is no second season. Just imagine it never happened, guys. All right, next up we got Psycho-Pass, and Psycho-Pass is a sci-fi mystery action anime, and I really love this anime. I'm not gonna lie, I would honestly give this a 10 out of 10 because I really liked Psycho-Pass. Psycho-Pass was an anime that I really enjoyed. The mystery in this anime was something that I really liked. Psycho-Pass is a anime that takes place in a futuristic world where everyone lives in a world with a system called Sybil, and the Sybil system basically assesses people based on their potential and capability to do harm and evil to others, and they put this basically into a score, and it's kind of like Minority Report where they're able to detect what people are going to do in the future, except in Psycho-Pass they just base it off of these scores, and the plot twist in the end, it explains how this all happens, but basically that's mainly the main thing. And then we follow Detective Tsunemori as well as her partner Shinya Kogami. At first it just seems like a very generic futuristic cop show with these weapons called Dominators that basically follows the command of the detectives that are using it. But then it eventually reaches some sort of Attack on Titan level of exploring morality and good and evil. Eventually, our main heroine learns that the Sybil system's judgment on people's abilities for criminal intent may not be exactly what it is. And we especially learn this after getting introduced to the amazing villain Makishimi. So yeah, I feel like this anime very clearly takes a lot of inspiration from Blade Runner. If you have seen Blade Runner, then you know that it explores a lot of philosophical ideas in a cyberpunk type of world. So if you really like the action in Attack on Titan and you also like the mystery plot in Attack on Titan, then I think you're gonna enjoy Psycho-Pass as well. Psycho-Pass aims for some really good character development and has very strong plot elements and action elements that are gonna keep you constantly on edge while watching the show. Full Metal Alchemist. Alchemy, the science of understanding, deconstructing, and reconstructing matter. However, it is not an all-powerful art. Okay, guys, Full Metal Alchemist, I'm sure all of you guys are gonna enjoy this show. Full Metal Alchemist, all around, is a really good show. It's a really good show. I mean, there's a reason why it's #1 on my anime list, guys, because it actually is really good. Full Metal Alchemist is set in a medieval fantasy type of setting, and we see Edward and Alphonse, as well as Colonel Mustang, Yao Ling, Hawkeye, Winry, really good characters all around, really good characters. The plot isn't actually that strong as Attack on Titan's plot in my opinion, but overall I think it actually is better than Attack on Titan overall. The story covers a lot of concepts like revenge, suffering, agony, and redemption, all in that order. In a similar way, Attack on Titan has a storyline that covers revenge, suffering, agony, and redemption, and in both stories, both of them have main characters who are children, and they all live peaceful lives, but then they're struck with a dark, grim tragedy which completely alters the way that they view life, and they seek for revenge and redemption in order to change the environment around them and seek some sort of truth to why the things happened when they were younger. And essentially, Edward and Alphonse, these two brothers, they aim to seek for the Philosopher's Stone, which can pretty much overcome the law of equivalent exchange. The idea if one wishes to obtain something of equal value must be given. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah, it's a really good all-around top-notch story. You're gonna pretty much enjoy this story. I really enjoyed this story. All right, on to the next thing on our list. We got Steins Gate, and guys, Steins Gate, wow, you definitely gotta watch this if you haven't seen it already. But after watching Attack on Titan, you're not gonna be disappointed after watching a Steins Gate. Steins Gate is well made, very well made, and I personally think that Steins Gate has a very solid plot, honestly a better plot than Attack on Titan, with really likable characters, very likable characters. We follow the mad scientist Okabe Rintaro.
I am mad scientist. It's so cool.
And he lives in an old apartment building with his very geeky and nerdy friend Daru. Okabe is also in a very close relationship with his childhood friend Mayuri. Oh gosh, make it stop. But on a more serious note, we also get to meet Kurisu, who's one of the professors at Okabe's school. I think the best thing about this show is that the character interactions are very casual, and it seems like honestly anything that any person could just be in. It's not like really like Attack on Titan where it's in a complete fantasy medieval type of setting, but instead it's just in a casual type of setting, a realistic world setting where all the characters are interacting as very realistic individuals with very likable personalities. And eventually essentially the characters, the group of friends, obtain a time travel machine, which is actually just a simple phone time travel machine where they can send a text message back in time just using their phone. You never really think that such a simple way of time travel, of sending a text message back in the past, can change so much, but it actually alters the entire flow of history. And wow, the show is amazing. Like, the idea of time travel and the concept of time travel is pretty good, and they managed to avoid a lot of plot holes, and it's gonna leave you very satisfied. The show itself is actually, some of the events are actually based on true stories of people in the past claiming to be time travelers, and even some of the ideas behind the IBM machine actually are true. They actually are true. So this thing isn't completely fiction. It explores a lot of the depths of scientific theory and practicality. The elements of mystery are really good. The plot is honestly on par with Attack on Titan, or maybe even better than Attack on Titan's plot. Not only that, Steins Gate manages to meet very high standards for comedy as well as romance. So yeah, even if you don't like action that much or mystery or whatever, Steins Gate pretty much has almost everything that you could think of that you're pretty much gonna enjoy. It even has a mini harem. So if you're into that, then sure, go ahead. It might not be right to say that Attack on Titan and Steins Gate are completely similar, but I do want to say that some of the world building, especially if you watch Steins Gate 0, which is like an alternate ending type of thing to Steins Gate, then the world building is pretty good, and I think it's on par with Attack on Titan. And overall, Steins Gate is pretty good, and everything connects together. Just like Attack on Titan everything will eventually connect together. And there's also a lot of plot twists and revelations, just like in Attack on Titan, that will blow your mind. And some of the action sequences, I love them. Action sequences are really cool. They blend very well into the actual plot, and they're not just completely out there, not just for the sake of being action sequences, but they're actually vital plot elements that help convey significant portions of the show's themes and developing the characters and everything. So you're gonna be on edge every time you watch Steins Gate. The beginning, a lot of people say it's slow, and I agree, but it's necessary for developing some of the characters and developing and setting up the world that you're gonna immerse yourself in. And make sure to watch Steins Gate 0. People didn't like Steins Gate 0, but that's part of the experience as well of watching Steins Gate. I personally really enjoyed Steins Gate 0 as well as the original Steins Gate. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. So if you guys did enjoy this list, let me know in the comments down below. If I did miss anything, let me know in the comments down below as well. I'm happy to look at anything that I might have missed in this video. If you have seen all of these, then I'm sorry, because I know a lot of these are really popular. But if you haven't, then I definitely recommend you to check at least one of these out, because all of these are definitely worth a watch, and all of these are really good. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.